Commission meeting Wednesday, January 24th. It is all three commissioners are present. Start off with public comment. Not seeing any public. Then I will move on to elected officials, department head updates. And Eli, you want to start? Do you have anything?
Yeah, sure. Sure. I just want to give an update on the progress with the communication infrastructure. Yeah, we're down to one more site that we're trying to iron out. Like I mentioned before, this has triggered some fees or monthly fees to use those sites that we're currently on, but we're able to manage it. I probably don't need your help, Jack, and help try to with you. You know, just. About that for you. Yeah, this is just kind of just to the transfer to us. Okay, right. Once that happens, the USL will agree whether they agree or not for the transfer, and we'll just basically take over the site from Allstat, and we will be responsible for the generator and all that stuff, going up that stuff up there right now. So far, equipment is starting to come in, and it's being ordered. But like I said, we only have one site that we still need to negotiating a monthly fee. And then that MOU that Jack is gonna help us, that Jack is on helping, it's on the record now that.
The heat is on, the pressure is on, the entire project, the rest on my back.
And Eli, just because we're recording this and somebody might say, what is this infrastructure thing? Can you explain what the project is itself?
Sure, well,
Only to the extent that disclosure in public doesn't jeopardize safety operations.
correct.
And there is, I
Correct.
know.
Well, we've been providing communication services to the county law enforcement for over probably 25 years, give or take. And a lot of the equipment that was initially purchased through a grant. And we still have some of that equipment in place, and they're end of life, we're band-aiding a lot of the repairs because some of the parts are obsolete. So fortunately, we were able to get some funding through grants and to do a complete overhaul of the communication of our outside infrastructure, which means all our communication sites where there's antennas or repeaters or microwaves that kind of provide that radio service to the law enforcement county. We are updating it to the state-of-the-art equipment, also adding a second channel, which has been of critical need because of the amount of traffic that we have, of radio traffic that we have on our system. And when there's when there's an emergency, we have a channel that we can divert the unnecessary calls, business calls that we get, like for motor vehicle stops, something like that, so they can have a channel that's clean and clear for them. That will be a huge benefit to us. And fortunately enough, like I said before, through the grants that we receive, we're going to be able to do this complete overhaul, which is about right? I think it's 4 million, give or take.
Oh, 4.4 million.
$4.4 million dollars sitting there. We've been fortunate that we were able to get cover most of it with all grants.
100%.
90%.
100% is called covered, so it's not going to
That's most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's worth, the history is worth it because it is an old system.
Mhm.
It was obviously, it was grant funded the first time.
Yes.
It was grant funded when we
Moved that upstairs.
moved the dispatch center as it's grown. It's the third time now, right?
Correct.
But it's all 25 years old, and it has the same infrastructure issues that the mutual aid dispatch network does, which is even older.
And this is communication, this is ensuring communications can occur between individual police officers and to the dispatch center too, correct?
Correct. Well, it's like, if you look at it this way, a family of 4 trying to use one car, and now we're adding a second channel, help us divert some of the load when we have critical work versus try to everybody manage everything on one channel, that's probably the biggest improvement we're gonna have, and, the equipment is gonna be, like I said, a state of the art. It's gonna be, we're gonna be able to do a lot of the remote repairs versus having to go, directly to the to the sites. Unless somebody unplugs something or physically remove something, but, that's another a benefit, because nowadays we have to climb to wherever site it is to go do a reset button. And with the capabilities of this new system, it can be all be done remotely unless there's something physical with the equipment that we need to go up to it. The benefit is huge, and I think it's gonna greatly improve the services that we have, with coverage, as well.
Good for another 20.
Hopefully good for another 20.
All righty, anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, is there a timeline?
Timeline?
Any sort of reliable concept?
Well, we're looking at probably, the equipment is gonna be, it's coming here, and it's going to, some of the equipment's coming here, some of the equipment's coming to to Two-Way, which is the company that Motorola is using to,
Right.
kind of built this for us, and they're gonna be built it on site, which means, I'm not built it at their shop. And basically, test everything at the shop before actually going installation. So basically gonna build the network of systems in their building to make sure they all work before they bring these cabinets with equipment to the site itself. So they can troubleshoot, all the equipment before they even go out there. So they basically built it on site, kind of replicate the different sites that we have in their building and work it out. And I think we're gonna start seeing in the spring, early summer, that transition of actually going to the sites and doing this work. Because a lot of it can be done, a lot of it can be done in-house. With equipment, though, you have to go out there and replace some antennas and put some wiring, maybe upgrade some of the grounding. That's being done separately from the build of the actual components and radio equipment and
Do you have a sense, given the number of towers, how many areas of weak propagation remain? I mean, this was the other thing we've worked on over 25 years is we only started with a certain number of towers, and there's a fair number of areas in the county where you couldn't hear anybody, couldn't talk to anybody.
Right.
And so the idea is to increase the coverage so that you can almost get to anybody anywhere with respect to radio coverage.
Right.
Yeah, we believe that we don't, what we have seen does is it's adequate. We're adding another site, and another site, to the system. There's pockets like in Hinsdale and Richmond that are difficult, that sometimes you have to have almost like a tower on top of a tower to, get them, because there's a mountain on just one side that blocks everything, and now we need to figure out how to get above mountain, over that mountain. So, but I think what we have in place, we will have a better idea whether in the future we need to look at, maybe additional sites to improve those potential weak sites.
Does the new bridge in Hinsdale offer you an opportunity to get on the other side of Black Mountain and shoot down the valley?
I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. Maybe I put an antenna on the top of the bridge.
Yeah, no, really, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
How many antennas do you have right now?
We have currently 13 sites.
13 sites.
Is that down from what you had?
No, we actually went up.
Yeah.
Went up one. So we will have 14.
And that bridge has got a good elevation to it.
That'd be curious.
But it's only, it doesn't have height rails and it does have the solar lights.
So there's no power to that building?
Yeah.
There's no power?
Hmm?
There's no power?
No, it's all solar.
All solar?
Well, it's easy enough to run a line up there though from the.
Sure. Gotta sure raise the cost again.
Well. Yeah, just a thought.
Right now, well, that town is troubling because of this solar.
Yeah, it's in the river valley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, thank you.
it's a good project.
Get better, buddy.
Yeah.
No, Do you have anything for us today? You're still muted.
I guess he doesn't have any.
Yeah, we're,
Is that him?
that's me, just making sure we're on the right speakers.
Oh,
We are.
And how about, all right, let's test it with Kim. Kim, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
It's on your end, Doug. Tune out and come back in.
man, a few words today.
Kim, while we have you here, do you have anything that you want to bring forward?
I do. I want to give the commissioners an update on where we are with EMS staffing. We have had a flurry of applications and interviews and job offers. On Monday, the 29th, we will have 6 new people in orientation, 3 medics, 1 advanced, and 2 EMTs.
And
We,
one of the EMTs is testing out in a few weeks to become a paramedic.
true,
A medic, really?
Yeah.
yeah, but she's gonna go ahead and start as an EMT. We have 8 other folks that we have made job offers to that are pending New Hampshire licensing, or either because they just came out of the class we sponsored or because they're coming to us from Massachusetts. And out of those 8, 3 of them are medics, 5 of them are EMTs. And then we have today an interview this afternoon with an EMT, and next week we have an interview with an advanced. If everybody that we have made offers to, once they get their licensing and get on board with us, we'll be at 47.
Do
Which is,
we have a, do we
Go
have a
ahead.
tentative goal?
I'm
goal.
thinking they want to be right at around 50 to be able to staff all the ambulances on a regular basis.
So that actually, to my understanding, puts our staffing levels better than almost anybody, period.
Yes, we have, yeah. We're in good.
And is that factor in, the 47 factor in per diems?
Yes, it does. We have very few per diems. I think we have 3. We have 2 advanced per diems, and then we have 2 per diem EMTs.
Okay.
So
Great.
we're getting there. I don't wanna say anything to curse us, but we are definitely getting there. We've had a phenomenal response. Sarah Cannell, who is one of our EMTs and has a marketing background, has done a phenomenal job with getting us out there on social media. The ads we ran over in Massachusetts in the Lawrence and Lowell area have pulled a lot of people. So,
Great.
yeah.
Great. I look
the
forward to. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only other thing I want to let you know is we did the vote yesterday with the Teamsters at EMS. And it was unanimous 14-0. The Teamsters will be coming in, and it'll be about 5 days for them to certify the vote, and then they'll be moving forward with starting conversations about a contract.
Yeah, and as you know, we don't start anything until I receive a letter that says they'd like to open up, and then we start working on what that would look like and get ground rules in place.
Great. Well, I look forward to the weekly update because I think it's really useful, information.
I agreed, and I'm happy to keep y'all updated. I'm very happy with the way our staffing is going.
Yeah, and Mark Creamer's asked me to be part of the orientation just for a portion of it. So I'm gonna go down and he's like, you really are the one that knows the history. And we think that it's important that they know where we came from and why we're here today. And so I'll go down and do that. And also I'm working with both Chad and Assistant Chief and the Chief to look at April as a time where we can have a pinning ceremony that we've talked about, and also an open house. So that people can see what it looks like there.
Great, good news.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Doug, let's try it again.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Do you want to, is there something important that you want to call into my phone?
Chat. Okay, great.
All right,
Nothing.
thanks.
Nothing today, just listening.
right.
Oh, okay.
Seeing no other and seeing no scheduled items, then let's go on to my report. Add on their orientation, but that's already been discussed. Can-Tech Systems, Can-Tech system is the door systems we have in the building.
Oh,
And I want to make it aware they're about 20 years old.
no,
Yeah, that's what I'm being told. And
it's not possible.
And so the assist and we've been having some problems with them lately. So Can-Tech is sending in their people to do an assessment of what the need is.
This is the software that opens the doors at certain hours where you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct, and it's really important to us. So,
It's only been acting up for a few years.
so, I asked Rob Hart to reach out to them, set up a time to come in, do an estimate of what, or give us an overview of what's going on and what we need to do to move forward. And then if we need to RFP, we'll RFP it out, or we'll go with, whatever we choose to do. But that, we are moving forward. I just want to make you aware of that.
Is that hardware or just a
It's just a
software?
software thing.
It's
there
just a
is-
software thing.
Is some hardware that could be of concern, the, using your phone.
Flash, yeah.
As we were all locked out a couple weeks ago and there was no fix on it, that Can-Tech is now owned by another company. Which makes it difficult to get in contact with them. So me and Rob were calling a bunch of places, finally got a hold of them, but. Yeah,
So did someone have to climb through the window to get in?
no, we ended up finding a workaround in the software to stage it like there was an emergency in the building to unlock everything, which is only used for fires or shooters as well. So it worked, but it's not a good repair for the future. It's really not.
All right, moving on, the executive committee met on Monday, was the outside agencies, and I thought it went well.
Yes.
I thought the presentations went well. I do think, though, that it's important, to you guys to have them come in and meet with you too, because you guys had questions.
Mhm.
And,
Outside agent?
yeah,
Well, they did, but they're probably, didn't
no, we didn't do it this year we didn't do outside agencies. We only had the people that had funding differences.
they? Oh,
We were able to, John had some concerns about the increases, but we explained it to him and he was fine after that. Is the system acting up again?
the what?
The system in the delegation hall,
It was terrible.
Should I steal this folder and double check signatures?
You need the rest of it.
and,
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
I can't.
Yes?
yes.
Oh, good. All right. It was kind of user error. My laptop died and I got a desktop that has an external microphone. I figured out how to turn that on.
Right.
Thank you.
So she's back with us. And I think the only other thing it was convenient was, Representative Rhodes had talked about, collaboration between agencies, and yesterday I got an email. She was concerned that there wasn't collaboration going on, and I tried to explain to her, there's all kinds of, whether it's United Way, making everybody come together. But I also got an email yesterday on the Homeless Coalition, which is about 80 people long list that they get together once a month with agenda and everything. I sent it on to her and she was appreciative, so. But there's no real pushback though, I didn't see.
Was she suggesting that the county expand their reach and get involved more in other things?
No, she just, I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of agencies that they just sort of touch on the same thing. And sometimes if they don't, communicate with each other, they can.
Wanted the sheriff, I did just realize this, the sheriff didn't tell you that They had the vote, as you remember, there was an opener. The Department of Corrections, voted to, agree with what we came up with, and moving April 1, they would get those monies. On the flip side, the dispatch / deputies, it was a 6-4 vote against, so they won't.
They want more than
move
a
forward.
dollar.
And that was, the dispatch was upset. They felt like they were, getting shortchanged on it, and so they protested by doing that, so. At this point, we would move forward with negotiations down the road, normal negotiations that would occur.
And so was this the opener?
Yeah.
For wages?
This was with an opener for wages. And as
It
you,
was a scheduled opener. So it was scheduled opener?
yeah,
Was it, were we into the original agreement that we?
no,
Okay.
no, this was something they came forward with, asked for it, we agreed to it and brought it forward. So. It is what it is, and we move forward. Will be sitting on the transit task force meeting tomorrow for, that the Southwest Regional Planning Commission is bringing forward. And really about talking again about rural access to transit and opportunities for us to continue to grow that opportunity.
The chronic issue over the last 30 years is it's expensive and there's no money and nobody wants to pay for it. There's a certain little bit of money there. Yeah. Those federal dollars. 52. Something. There's some federal dollars that HCS gets.
Yeah,
But it will always require subsidization because it's rural, it's not.
Which point are they're thinking about starting first?
Well, I think that's probably part of the discussion that gradually has been, but
correct.
it's very expensive. Very expensive to keep a bus and a driver on the road to try to figure out, well, we know that there's about 15,000 cars a day that come out of Swansea, come through. We know what the road jumps are. They're all about the same. Whether it's 101 coming in or 212. The question is the schedule and the stops and the timing, and it just never goes anywhere because there's no way.
There's no long-term remedy to it either, financially.
Yeah, because there's just not enough people to fit into a structure or a schedule that stops in the world.
It's a culture too.
I mean,
People aren't used to taking the bus.
not from Swansea or Hinsdale at a designated time from a designated spot to a fixed location. It's just, and nobody has the ability to subsidize it from a tax point of view. And Keene's the biggest user because of the density of the population, and even they've never wanted to add a lot of money to it. So it's really been on the back of home healthcare, and then it's not really in their lane. So they've got this orphan child of transportation. It's tough for them to kind of get out of it. They wouldn't think.
Well, they get a chunk of money from the city.
Mm.
Down front, like.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, it's like, it was, last I knew, it was like 80,000.
So it's a tough question because it does nothing but eat up tax dollars.
Yeah.
Obviously it's valuable for the people that use it, but it will never carry enough people to pay for itself, not even close.
Yeah. We know, part of my old, Monadnock Developmental Services, one of my areas that was transportation. We took a 2-van, 12 individual run and turned that into about an 80 individual, 5 vans. In a scheme that was a great growth, but in the scheme of things, it's still just 80 people. It's a lot of
Exactly.
but we had runs going out to Swansea and Winchester. We had runs out to Walpole. We had, it was happening.
It actually would be interesting talking about us as agencies coming in to get some data from them at some time. make the conversation more transparent a little bit. To the extent that people might see it or read about it in our platform. But it's all about the bodies, it's just not about belly buttons to move around.
Yeah. And it is a paradigm shift for individuals, you know, they have to see it as an opportunity. And I think a lot of people have just come accustomed to how, you know, but it's through neighbors, through friends, whatever, to get where they need to get, or Ellen Avery's program, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, well, that's only been successful for elderly people. You know, who don't, as a class, don't drive as much because, in the culture, we're coming from 3 to 4 car families.
Yeah.
You know, and they drive everywhere. They gotta do it when they wanna go and. Rather than,
Clearly, we need rail service. All the towns, the trains running every 20 minutes. That we figured.
I wish we had kept the rail lines and somehow, I know that's not.
You look at, look at how important they were in the history.
Yeah.
I mean,
it opened it up. It
yeah,
opened this whole area.
we built a rail. And the city sprung up.
Mhm.
I mean,
We were turnpike towns, you know, so I mean, we had inns, we had stores.
Right.
Because all these people had, you know, all those extra services.
yeah. And
And what is interesting is I didn't know that the Hancock Inn is the oldest inn in the
It
state of
is,
New Hampshire.
yeah, yeah. And do you know that John Hancock, what he was named?
never
after?
stayed there.
He never came to town.
Never gave-
He never came to Hancock.
When I lived in Hancock, I used to cross-country ski down there after a snowstorm.
Oh, I bet that was nice.
Yeah, you just ski downtown, go inside, have some sherry and
Yeah.
full appetizer, and then ski back home.
Hmm,
That's a lovely time.
it is, yeah, it seems like a lot of work, for sure.
For sherry?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm younger than.
It's an excuse for sure.
Also, yesterday sat on, they got the second part of the housing collaborative. And, you know, when we had the conference over in Manchester, United Way held a major conference here on housing. We had about 90 people attend. And they kept it going with subgroups to develop certain aspects of it. And, you know, it's great that they're moving forward. But I'm just wondering where it all will end up. And
We
not
actually,
clear to, yeah.
yeah, I think properly structured, it can provide some useful information to developers or
Yeah.
anybody that can build housing.
Yeah.
We actually, decades ago, worked with Keene State professor and some other funds and normal nonprofits, you know, in housing and yeah, so mostly private housing. To identify where the housing needs were as along the income path, so we actually quantified the number of executive homes we needed, middle income, workforce, whatever. As a way to try to encourage developers to say, you know, there is a market here, we've got some numbers that, you know, that show it. But getting a developer interested and then finding some, I'll say, external or sustainable funding to meet the need for either workforce or sustainable or anything. That would be kind of a goal, you know, you point out the opportunity and maybe then you can tease somebody into it, because we're not gonna be building houses. But somebody's gotta know that there's a viable market out there. You know, gathered up all that data.
And I think it's one of the things that there is a group that's working on that type of data. And so I think that's healthy for us to move forward, but it's still in the early process. And so I'll continue to sit on that. I'm meeting with Madison. I know that Davis will be able to call too. I'm Madison Lightfoot, who is from the Sheen's office. If you remember a while ago, we had a meeting with Sheen, Haskins people, Custer's people, not Leahy's, Welsh's people, Sanders people and whoever the woman is, that's a congressman there. Yeah, and it was, it was a really good meeting, and everybody agreed that this is something that they should look at and move forward with when it comes to congressional spending requests, and that is, mutual aid over here. And the funding for exactly what the sheriff was talking about, but doing it for the Southwest Mutual Aid and working with Chief Sergeant Mono. And he, I just wanted to, the congressional spending request usually comes out in February. And so I want to have a meeting prior to that, just to make sure we're still on the same page. Because we're gonna ask all of them, or, you know, we're gonna give the full amount. We're gonna do up the documents for, the chief's, Putney to send up to the state, in Vermont to take, you know, because we can't do that. We can't request it because we're not from there. And so it's, we just need to be ready, and I just want to coordinate again, but, you know, and we're still waiting to hear from FEMA. I know that, I'm working with Don Bliss, because we asked them for funding too, $4 million to help with this project.
For remediation or
Yes,
mitigation.
yeah. And they are the ones that told us to submit it, so.
Yeah.
And, but what's getting a little murky is Concord is entered into the mix too. So, but that's fine, because it shows that we all coordinate in Concord, we're the backup for Concord if they go down. Mutual aid wise, yeah,
Oh, for Concord area.
yeah. And, so there's a connection there, and so
Well, that's a lot of infrastructure.
we're just trying to play all our cards and see if we land anything. And there's no sure bet that we wanna land a dollar, but if we don't try, then we don't know.
Well, we should start in the sheriff's thing that way, looking at a huge price tag and now there's nothing.
And
Good.
I don't officially want to tell you that I am now officially a member of Cheshire County Power. I mean, I had to do
Oh,
that.
you joined your house.
I had to leave the company I was with. And then had to contact Eversource to get my account number. Fill out the thing online, and they sent me
How long did it take?
a day and a half. I mean, it's a day,
No, I mean,
the form itself, took me all of 30 seconds.
no, I mean, it's so.
It's,
Is it
I,
now
I,
active?
no, I have to go one more, a meter cycle.
Yeah.
And then I'll be in,
Well, that's good, because it doesn't start till February 1st anyway. You know,
Yeah.
the new rate,
yeah,
but you know, it's 3 cents.
yeah.
That's-
Well,
It's $21 a
I'm
month.
losing a lot, I'm saving a lot actually,
Look into
because
that.
I was at, they were offering, the company I was with was offering me, it's always funny, they were offering me a new rate, they were very excited about $14.99. And I'm like, yeah, we're not renewing you, I'm gonna call you right now and say that, and then, and I was gonna switch over anyways, and then I called them, and they're like, well, we can offer you $11.99. I said, well, you didn't offer that to me before, why are you saying that now? And I said, and I can get 8.1, so, no, thank you,
Yeah.
and just can't.
So 8.1 is at the default rate that we call.
That's Cheshire.
And is that the rate for no renewables, that sort of thing?
24.8. 25%. That's the default rate. That's the minimum on state standards. But you can go up. I mean,
You can go up.
33 is only 8.4,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
So yeah, you can get 50%. Yeah, 50% less than Kingsley.
That's what pretty much what we have. Cheryl and I are gonna be working on Friday on, the budget numbers.
I thought we were gonna do that today.
No, she's sick.
Oh,
She is, homesick today. And I told her to stay homesick because it's the stomach bug. So, but we're gonna work on that on Friday and we'll present that to you next week. So, aside from that, is there any old business? Any new business? Consent agenda, vote to accept weekly manifest meeting minutes of January 17, 2023.
So move second.
Second, Commissioner Wasback, Commissioner England,
Aye.
and Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
Calendar change, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, so just, I need some additions, which I think I'm gonna change again to make sure we have a date in April. That we could have the cleaning ceremony and be there at the same time, but
Yeah.
I've added EMS to our schedule, so the first time we'll be there is February 21st at 8:30 AM. And I'm gonna talk with Chief Olson just about the best options and make sure we're not interacting or interrupting any training sessions that are going on. But as you can see, it's about once every 6 weeks or so that we're gonna be over there.
I won't be,
What's it?
remember, I'll be in Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah, so. Well, we can maybe see if we want
So
to
there's
switch
no-
those.
You know, first week of the month, second week of the month, it's all mixed up now.
Yeah, it has to be yeah, I know, it had to be able to,
When you get your
Well,
commissioners.
Unfortunate to be able to remember that from at all.
Just will be on here.
I don't pay any attention to it till I get the agenda.
Yeah.
exactly, just I tell you where to go, 2:30 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Why don't
Just-
you get 2 copies of every agenda? 2 emails.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. This was like a legacy program that I just signed on to. So I send it to you guys with multiple documents, including the minutes and anything else you guys need. And then I send it out to everyone with just the agenda.
Oh,
There's-
okay,
there's
so we're
BCC
also
on
on that list, I see.
Correct.
Yes, because some of it is a public notice and then
Exactly.
others,
It's just us.
just us.
Exactly.
Mine looks like
And
the
I-
same.
And I
Right.
think you're probably on there so people can email you, just they see your emails there. and can
One is,
reach out.
the public is the less of the document. I mean, you get more paper
Mm.
or certain things. Okay, calendar.
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with me meeting out in EMS more frequently to swap out some of the 12 Court Street stuff, not to abandon any of the other site visits, but
Yeah, so what I mostly did, I actually took from all 3 locations. So I reduced Maplewood, DOC and 12th Court to make up for EMS, but
that's fine.
a little bit more weighted towards removing DOC and Maplewood rather than 12th Court. Just make sure we're here twice a month, but if you have any opinions, I'm happy to change it. This can always just change whenever it needs to.
It's just, you know, they're the newest kid,
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
But one thing I will say is I could bring us there earlier, so you don't miss it since you'll be in Puerto Rico for the first one. I could put it on Valentine's Day if that works for you guys.
It might not hurt, you know, I think it might not hurt us to kind of incorporate a tour updates, just kind of pre-meeting sort of stuff, not public stuff, but take a look at the equipment, kind of get an update of kind of where things are at. There's a
Yeah.
little more,
I'd really like to do that.
a little more,
First meeting up.
yeah.
Great. So how about I'll talk with Chief Olson and how about I move it to the 7th or the 14th? And I can just see which one works better if we're incorporating a tour for them.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, great. So I'll make sure you guys know about that beforehand on which date it is.
Yes.
Good idea.
Because I also think it would help for staffing, because I think if we're there and we talk about staffing in front of the crew, that helps them as well. Because they can feel the energy.
Yeah.
Of the positive recruitment efforts.
Yeah.
Obviously, they know some of it, but I think it just strengthens the connection.
Okay, so has anything changed in applications? Because we were having a hard time in the other departments, even getting applications or is it just? Because you met?
I think it's just because of EMS. I think that with refined marketing, with some of the adjustments we've made, with a little bit more longevity of our operation and word spreading in a positive way, kind of getting away from some of the ragtag talk from the fire union.
Yeah.
I think people are realizing, hey, this is cool.
But I mean, we're still having trouble finding nurses and DOC people.
I think,
Right.
yeah, I mean, the nurses is gonna be an ongoing forever. But
It's you know, the shift profile, it's tougher to draw a nurse from Massachusetts Lowell than it is an EMT or a medic with the length of the shifts. I mean, you've got sleeping right there, you know, they're gonna stay overnight on their shift.
You know,
And then they're gonna go home for 2 or 3 days.
right, I mean, they pay, some of these guys coming up here, and if they work with us long enough, that do they have the opportunity to have a second retirement? Yes. Are some of these guys coming from privates that have never had the opportunity to have some of the things like the healthcare plan that we have or the retirement? Yes, I think we changed a lot of the app. The advertisement that we did, and that we broke it into bullet points. And really, so people understood, that they're paying that the county's paying 85% of their healthcare costs, and that there's an excellent program that we're paying 14.9% of their retirement, along with what they're paying. And, there's a litany of things that we've really started to tell the story with it. I think we're seeing, and we were very aggressive in going after a lot of different places with advertising. And I think that's benefited us.
Just from a behavior point of view, it's a much more computer-friendly travel circle than most other jobs. Just by what it is. And nothing unique to us, but, people commute from here up to New London for a couple days a week and then come back, and the commutes are a lot longer. And so the market that you reach to is much bigger, just because the profile is. It's just the industry.
Yeah, a friend of mine does a 24-hour shift and a 12-hour shift each week.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-hour drive to where they go, but
Yeah,
2 days a week.
right, right.
Nice.
And the housing is free.
Yeah,
Typically.
exactly.
I was talking to a cop yesterday at Scholes, and he was complaining all day about not having enough people, right? I said, you're gonna be here all day, yeah, it's really relief,
Yeah. But they don't have the same schedule, like I saying. It's just it's almost in the DNA of EMS and fire. The shift profile, it's almost institutional.
Hmm.
And if you didn't have it, you almost would get the sort of people you actually tried them. Right. But it is not for everybody, clearly. Those are long shifts and, yeah, but it's just baked into their DNA.
That's good.
Okay, and then, just a motion to
Friday.
it's 10 o'clock. And then it's the,
I'm just, Friday meeting,
Oh, EMS budget.
okay, does not include us.
I'll probably try to go.
so that's just a motion to adjourn, that's it.
Friday, the 26th.
So move.
Yeah. Second. Aye, Mr. England, Mr. Clark, thank you. Can you start recording?
Yep.